All right, let's talk about something important. You know how we have days for everything? There's a day for pancakes, a day for pirates, which is fun. But there are also days for things that really, truly matter. And one of those is World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. It happens every year on June 15th. It's a day when the whole world is supposed to stop for a minute and think about our seniors, our parents, our grandparents, our older neighbors. It's a day to make sure they are safe, respected, and loved. Because they deserve that. They really, really do. It's not just a suggestion. It's a global movement to shine a big, bright light on a problem that too many people would rather keep in the dark. This isn't just a little day that a few people decided to celebrate. It's a big deal. The United Nations, the organization where all the countries get together to try and solve world problems, officially recognizes it. That means leaders and governments all over the planet have agreed that this is a critical issue. So where did this day even come from? It didn't just appear out of thin air. It started with a group of very passionate people who saw a problem and decided to do something about it. Back in 2006, an organization called the International Network for the Prevention of Elder Abuse, or INPEA for short, came up with the idea. They were on the front lines, seeing what was happening to older adults around the world. They chose June 15th to launch the very first World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. Their idea was brilliant, and it started to catch on. People in different countries began to recognize the day, holding small events and spreading the word. It was like a little seed of an idea that started to grow and grow. But to make it truly global, it needed a bigger platform. It needed the kind of recognition that would make every government sit up and take notice. That's where the United Nations comes back into the story. The advocates at INPEA and other groups worked tirelessly, pushing for the UN to officially adopt the day. And then, in 2011, it happened. The United Nations General Assembly passed a resolution, officially designating June 15th as World Elder Abuse Awareness Day. This was a huge victory. It's more than you think. When you hear the term elder abuse, your mind might immediately go to physical harm. And that is definitely a big, horrible part of it. But it's so much more than that. Elder abuse can take many different forms, and a lot of them are hidden. There's physical abuse, of course, which includes hitting, pushing, or restraining someone. But there's also emotional or psychological abuse. This is when someone yells, threatens, humiliates, or intentionally ignores an older person, making them feel worthless or afraid. These are the wounds you can't see, but they can hurt just as deeply and leave long-lasting scars on a person's spirit. Then there's financial abuse, which is a huge and growing problem. This is when someone illegally or improperly uses an elder's money, property, or assets. It could be a caregiver stealing from their wallet, a family member tricking them into signing over their house, or a scammer on the phone convincing them to send money. We also have to talk about neglect. Neglect is the failure to provide the basic necessities of life to an older person who depends on you. This could mean not giving them enough food or water, not helping them stay clean, or not getting them the medical care they need. Sometimes it's intentional, but other times it can happen because a caregiver is overwhelmed and doesn't have the support they need. Either way, the result is the same. The older person suffers. So, why do we need a whole day for this? Why is it so important? Well, first and foremost, it's about human rights. The basic rights and freedoms that belong to every single person in the world, from the moment they are born until the moment they die. Growing older doesn't mean you lose your rights. Older people have the right to live with dignity, to be free from violence, to be secure, and to make their own choices. When elder abuse happens, it's a direct violation of these fundamental human rights. This day is a global stand to say that the rights of older people are not negotiable. They must be protected. It's also crucial for raising awareness and breaking the silence. Elder abuse often happens behind closed doors. It's a hidden problem shrouded in shame and secrecy. This day pushes the issue out into the open. It encourages conversations in families, in communities, and in the media. This day is also a powerful tool for advocacy. It's a chance for organizations, activists, and ordinary citizens to call on their governments for stronger laws and better policies. We need better systems for reporting abuse, more funding for adult protective services, and more support for caregivers to prevent burnout and neglect. Okay, now let's look at some of the facts. And I have to warn you, they're pretty tough to hear. But honestly, we need to know them. According to the World Health Organization, the WHO, the numbers are staggering. Before the pandemic, they estimated that about 1 in 6 people aged 60 and older experienced some form of abuse in community settings. 1 in 6. Think about that. For every 6 older people you know, one of them may have been a victim of abuse. That is just not okay. It's a global health crisis that has been ignored for far too long. The problem is even worse in institutions like nursing homes and long-term care facilities. The WHO reports that 2 in 3 staff members in these places admit to committing some form of abuse in the past year. 2 in 3. That is horrifying. These are the places where our most vulnerable elders are supposed to be safe and cared for. But for many, they become places of fear and suffering. And here's something else that's really concerning. These numbers are likely just the tip of the iceberg. Elder abuse is severely underreported. For every 1 case of elder abuse that is reported to the authorities, experts believe there could be as many as 23 cases that go unreported. Modern life has brought a lot of amazing things, but it has also created new challenges for our seniors. Families are more spread out than they used to be. Kids move away for jobs, and the tight-knit, multi-generational households of the past are becoming less common. This can lead to increased social isolation for older adults. Loneliness isn't just sad, it's dangerous. It makes seniors more vulnerable to depression, health problems, and, you guessed it, abuse. And then, the COVID-19 pandemic hit, and it made everything so much worse. The lockdowns and social distancing measures that were meant to protect older people from the virus also cut them off from their support systems. They couldn't see their families, their friends, or their community groups. This isolation was devastating. It also meant that there were fewer eyes on them. The economic struggles that many families are facing today also play a big role. When people are stressed about money, about losing their jobs, or about paying their bills, tensions run high. This stress can sometimes boil over into abuse. A caregiver who is financially dependent on an older relative might become resentful, or they might start to exploit them for money. Here's something amazing that's happening all over the world. People are living longer. Thanks to advances in medicine and public health, global populations are aging. By 2050, the number of people aged 60 and over is expected to double, reaching over 2 billion people. That's a lot of grandmas and grandpas. This is a wonderful thing. It's a testament to human progress. But it also means we have to get serious about planning for the future. Technology can be a huge part of the solution. Smart home devices can help seniors live independently for longer. Wearable devices can monitor their health and call for help in an emergency. Video calls can help them stay connected to family and friends, fighting off that dangerous isolation. But we have to be careful. We need to make sure that technology is accessible and easy for older adults to use. We can't let a digital divide leave them behind. Ultimately, the most powerful thing we can do is build stronger, more age-friendly communities. This is something everyone can be a part of. Now let's talk about how this issue looks in different parts of the world, because it's not the same everywhere. In many countries, like Pakistan for example, the problem of elder abuse is deeply hidden. There are strong cultural traditions of respecting elders, which is a beautiful thing. But this can also create a powerful taboo against speaking out. An older person would never want to bring shame upon their family by admitting that their own child or relative is mistreating them. In many such regions, there's also a lack of formal support systems. While Western countries have things like adult protective services and dedicated hotlines, these resources are often non-existent or severely underfunded in developing nations. So, after all of this, what's the takeaway? It's pretty simple, really. It's what I say at the end of my show: be kind to one another. But today, let's add a little something to that. Be kind to one another, especially our elders. They are the ones who built the world we live in. They are our history books, our storytellers, our sources of wisdom and unconditional love. They have earned the right to live their final years with dignity, with safety, and with joy. It is our collective responsibility to make sure that happens. This isn't someone else's problem to solve. It's ours. World Elder Abuse Awareness Day on June 15th is more than just a date on the calendar. It's a call to action. It's a reminder to open our eyes and our hearts. Pay attention to the older people in your life and in your community. Start a conversation. Ask them how they're doing, and really listen to the answer. If you see something that doesn't seem right, don't just look away. Say something. Let's work toward a world where every older person feels valued, safe, and loved. A world where they can age with grace and peace. Because kindness is a language everyone understands, no matter their age, and it's the one thing that can truly change the world.